A Chinese spy sentenced to 20 years in U.S. prison. The high-ranking official was found to have targeted American aviation intel. Caught on camera, Chinese leader Xi Jinping criticizing Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau face-to-face on the sidelines of the G20 summit. China unable to invade Taiwan. That's what a top U.S. military official is saying.
So it's a very, very difficult military objective.
Vice President Kamala Harris heading to Asia. She's meeting with the Philippines president there. Likely on the agenda, talks about Taiwan tensions. And China's COVID-19 cases surging. A city in southern China now building 250,000 beds for infected patients and their close contacts. Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Ellie Hart, in for Tiffany Meyer. Before we turn to today's news, we'd like to introduce you the sponsor of today's episode.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure is 100% private and does not collect or sell any of your personal data. Secure's Helix technology connects you securely to our Swiss servers without the need of a VPN, guaranteeing privacy and security for all your communications. Secure Messenger doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. Chat by Invites allows you to chat privately and securely with anyone outside of your secure network without the need for others to download Secure. Secure Send offers you a private and secure way to email anyone outside of Secure. You won't find this level of privacy or security on any other email or instant messaging application. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Visit secure.com to learn more about what makes us different. Get started with Secure Messenger for just $5 or $10 for the email and messenger package. Use promo code Tiffany for 25% off. A high-ranking Chinese spy given a 20-year prison sentence in the U.S. on Wednesday. He served as a deputy division director at the Chinese Ministry of State Security and has been found to have targeted U.S. aviation intel.
Yanjun Xu was found guilty of leading a ring of Chinese agents that targeted U.S. aviation companies beginning in 2013 or earlier. He recruited employees from American companies to travel to China, gathered confidential information from them, and leaked it to the Chinese Communist Party. He has worked as a state agent since 2003, having risen to the rank of Deputy Division Director at China's Ministry of State Security. Xu pleaded not guilty at the trial, which spanned 3 weeks. Xu is the first Chinese intelligence agent to be extradited to the United States to stand trial. He was caught in Belgium in 2018. That's after an engineer he targeted for recruitment cooperated with the FBI and helped lure him to the European country. He was later transferred to the U.S. In a statement, FBI Director Christopher Wray called the Chinese spy's actions brazen. He added that they show China will stop at nothing to put American companies out of business and damage U.S. workers.
A rare moment caught on camera. Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping wearing what some are calling an annoyed expression. On Wednesday, he criticized Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in person over alleged leaks about their meeting at the G20 summit. Here's more.
CCP leader Xi Jinping was filmed at the G20 summit confronting Canadian leader Justin Trudeau. Xi accused Trudeau of leaking details of a closed-door meeting on Tuesday to the media.
That is not appropriate. And we don't do this kind of thing that way.
Xi added that China can conduct talks with Canada with mutual respect if there's sincerity. Otherwise, there would be a dubious outcome. Here's Trudeau's response.
In Canada, we believe in free and open and frank dialogue, and that is what we will continue to have. We will continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will have to continue.
The day before, the two leaders held a short informal meeting on the sidelines of the G20 summit. Neither Chinese nor Canadian authorities have given details about the meeting, but Trudeau confirmed points that he had made to the media, like that he brought up serious concerns about alleged spying and Chinese interference in Canadian elections during the meeting. The confrontation between the two leaders highlights tensions between their countries. That's following China's tit-for-tat arrests in response to Canada's detention of Chinese telecom company Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou in 2018. And more recently on Monday, the arrest of an employee at Hydro-Quebec. He was charged with trying to steal trade secrets for China. Also this month, Canada ordered 3 Chinese companies to divest their investments in Canadian critical minerals, citing national security.
China won't be able to attack Taiwan in near future. That's what U.S. General Mark Milley said at a Pentagon briefing Wednesday. Here's more.
So it's a very, very difficult military objective.
The top military official says Chinese troops haven't fought in combat since fighting the Vietnamese in 1979, and so invading Taiwan would be a, quote, very dangerous game. He said Chinese leader Xi Jinping would probably conclude that an invasion would end in disaster anyway, and that it would mark a strategic debacle for the Chinese military.
And when blood is spilled and people die and real tanks are being blown up, things are a little bit different.
Miley adds even though a change in circumstances may occur, he believes launching an invasion on Taiwan would be a strategic mistake for China, similar to Russia's actions on Ukraine. Beijing sees Taiwan as its own territory despite never having ruled the island. U.S. relations with Taiwan play an important part in its relationship with China. President Joe Biden has confirmed that the U.S. will defend Taiwan if attacked by China. And now the U.K. is making a similar commitment. Earlier this week, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said he would consider sending arms to Taiwan if needed, adding that China represents a systemic challenge to UK values.
Washington's relationship with the Philippines is warming. The U.S. now plans to pump over $60 million into the island country. The money will be used to upgrade and build new facilities on Filipino military bases. A security deal allows the U.S. to use 5 military bases there. Washington maintains a presence in the country by rotating troops, warships, and aircraft. The Philippines occupies a key location. It sits just south of Taiwan. The Filipino ambassador to the U.S. said earlier that American forces could use the military bases there in the case of a Taiwan military crisis. Though there's a catch. To allow it, the Philippines must believe the situation is important to its own security. Manila is now in talks with Washington over the possibility of allowing U.S. forces to use more than the current 5 military bases. The $60 million announcement comes a week before Vice President Kamala Harris' scheduled visit to the country. The trip would make her the highest-ranking U.S. official ever to visit the Philippines. Discussions about Taiwan tension are expected on the agenda. The Philippines is a U.S. treaty ally, meaning both countries would defend each other in case of an attack. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris is getting ready for a trip to Asia. There, she'll meet Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. next week, and talks about Taiwan are expected. Here's more on the details.
Manila's ambassador to Washington told the press Thursday he believes the leaders will touch on the Taiwan situation. During a phone call with Reuters, he noted the Philippines wants to play a role in peaceful coexistence between Washington and Beijing. What's more, he said Harris would brief Marcos on President Biden's 3-hour meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. The two spoke on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Indonesia this week. The vice president's trip visit will mark her first ever to the Philippines, and her second to Asia within just 3 months. She will also become the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit the Southeast Asian nation since elected Marcos. She's also scheduled to make a stop on the islands of Palawan. The archipelago covers nearly 1,800 small islands on the edge of the South China Sea. Her presence there would anger Beijing, which lays territory claims to much of the South China Sea. An international hearing in 2016 ruled those claims have no legal basis.
The war in Ukraine has shown how important drones are in modern combat, both for reconnaissance and attacks. Just like Ukraine, Taiwan has a powerful neighbor. On Tuesday, the island presented its self-developed drone technology amid ongoing tensions with China. Taiwan's National Chongsan Institute of Science and Technology designed the drones. They're specially made for collection intel and attacking enemy radars.
The images taken can be swiftly linked to the system so that they could be shared with all the combat units.
Taiwan originally planned to produce just over 100 drones. That number is expected to rise. The first batch of drones was already delivered and deployed along the island's coast, facing China. Now we turn to Germany. Politicians in the country are pushing back on a possible drone deal. They say they're concerned about civil protection. That's because the designated brand is a Chinese drone maker on the U.S. trade blacklist, DJI. According to German media report, Germany's Interior Ministry plans to buy more than 60 DJI drones for disaster relief. But leaders from the German environmentalist Green Party are calling it a bad idea, saying they shouldn't make Germany even more dependent on autocratic states in critical areas. But an Interior Ministry spokesperson says drones should not pose a security concern and adds that no bid has been made for the possible purchase yet. The U.S. Defense Department officially blacklisted DJI this year, labeling it a Chinese military company. That restriction follows last year's trade ban on DJI by the U.S. Treasury Department. Over in southern China, Guangzhou city authorities are setting up makeshift hospitals and quarantine sites. The facilities will include enough beds for nearly 250,000 COVID-19 patients and their close contacts. The city is a manufacturing hub and home to about 20 million people. Now it may be battling China's largest outbreak of the year. Official data shows that new daily infections of the CCP virus, which causes COVID-19, have risen to about 9,000. Due to the Chinese regime's history of underreporting the country's pandemic data, the true number might be higher. Many are concerned that Guangzhou's outbreak is approaching the same level as what Shanghai faced earlier this year. On Monday night, hundreds of residents took to the street in a rare protest, speaking out against lockdown orders in the city's worst-hit district. That's all for today's China in Focus on YouTube. We're now sharing a shortened version of our program here after being demonetized for more than a year. Here's what to look out for in our second half. As leader of the democratic world, the U.S. is facing multiple global missions at the same time, including facing off against Beijing. What's the first step in that confrontation with the communist regime?
If we just accommodate them, if they get to know us, then they will become liberalized, friendlier. They will see what the rules of the global order are and they'll behave. Well, there's enough empirical evidence to suggest this isn't going to happen. So you do have to, as I first, get the psychology right on our side.
Tiffany Meyer spoke to Grant Newsham, Senior Fellow with the Center for Security Policy, for a deep dive into the issue. The full episode is available on our partner platform Epoch TV. To sign up, click the link down below. Thanks for watching China in Focus. I'm Ellie Hart. Enjoy the rest of your week.